and welcome to Xena Warrior Podcast. My name is Vera, and I'm joined, as always, by my two buttery co-hosts, Katie.
Hello.
And Livy.
Hello. Oh my gosh.
Why don't we do the whole episode with
Just like this, with this voice? Will you tell me a story, Vera?
Oh, no. Once upon a time.
Oh, no.
Gosh.
Oh.
Wow. Well,
hello.
We have quite a doozy for you this week.
I know. Well, this is the last one in this stretch of maybe slightly challenging.
There's always a troubling period,
Episode.
usually in the middle of a season where
Trying period.
yeah, where you're just like, okay, all the good shit, but okay, we're doing this now. All right, little break.
So we bring you a Armisen Foster, Josh Becker classic.
Their previous was In Sickness and in Health.
Ah! My least favorite.
But that was, like, in comparison, way better than this.
Oh,
Jeez.
As an
Jeez.
episode, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, well, we're talking about 412, If the Shoe Fits.
You must quit.
Oh. How long have you been waiting to say that?
A week.
Wow.
That's props.
That's better
Mad
than
props.
the whole episode.
Yeah,
I
that
have
was.
to say.
Yeah, literally best.
There is some highlights,
There
however,
are,
in this
yeah.
episode, and if we get right down to it, I will say that the opening scene is one of them,
It's good.
Right, yeah.
and
what
that is where
it?
Gabrielle invents the outdoor shower. I love an outdoor shower.
It was quite an invention.
I mean, personally, I don't like taking them.
Not like hers, like in showers in general. You don't like taking
outdoor showers.
like in the little.
No.
Really?
Ooh.
Why?
Ooh.
Why do you like it so much, Katie? That's the question.
I just, like it. Like reminds me of like Cape Cod vacation. Like nice.
Yeah, I guess
I don't
as
know.
a
Maybe we're
city
thinking
girl,
about
I'm
like different types of showers, though. I'm not quite sure what you're thinking of specifically.
I sometimes would get hosed down after.
After wrestling in the mud
That's not what I
as
mean.
a city kid.
You know, like there's like you're in a shower. You're just outside.
Huh?
Like
Sounds great.
Jeez, really, you guys?
And you're exposed to all the elements,
No.
including your best friend who steals your
You're
clothes.
not, because like a real one has walls, unlike
true.
hers. Which
I
is not.
don't shower, so I don't know what
okay.
you guys are talking about. What is that?
I have to admit, before watching this episode, I was like, oh yeah, this one's trash. I don't have to care about this. And then the first scene happened, and I was like, oh, this happens in it? Never
Yeah.
mind.
I know, even like the
Exactly.
worst episodes have some kind of like hidden gem in them, and this is it.
And I said this sort of last week as well. Like, there are some episodes that I remember as being like, oh, I don't like that episode. That was bad. That was not a good one. But then when, you rewatch it because you have a podcast and you talk about the episode, I go, oh, that was actually not as horrendous as I built it up in my head. There's a lot of funny stuff in this. It's just, like, obviously not a classic.
I had an interesting observation for the very first shot of the episode, which is just tilting down from the sky to the trees. It could be any episode of Xena. But you could tell this one was a comedy because of the music. Like,
Yeah.
the music choices for these episodes, we've now heard so much music in Xena that you just know based on the do-do-do.
No, it's like shorthand. You're like,
oh, it's an Armisen Foster Becker comedy collaboration. I can just tell. I can feel it coming.
It's true, though. There is just something that happens when these people get together and give you an episode with Ted Raimi in it as well.
yep.
I read that the script for this one, Becker spilled some tea on this.
Our favorite Earl Grey.
And, it was in terrible shape. It had so many
No,
drafts.
you don't
Are you
say.
To the point
kidding
where
me?
the night before production, Becker goes over to Tappert's house. And Tappert is like, let's just go through these drafts and pull out, for each script page, just pull out the best version of that scene from each. So they just went through page by page, and they were like, which page is best? That one? Okay, pull that out. Which page is best?
Whoa.
Wow.
They did that. They ended up with a script that literally was completely incoherent because every page was from a different draft. And then Becker took it home and spent the entire night trying to, like, write the linking material between the pages of these scripts. It came in way under time, so they padded out that Joxer dance scene for like 10 minutes.
I loved that part because I went like, I don't have to take any notes right now. This is going like so fast. I love it.
So, yeah, I mean, you can see all the problems written across this. And it feels very kind of cobbled together as a story. And then it has some very notable pacing troubles. But it is funny at times.
Yeah.
Sure, at times, I guess it is. But mainly it's just so painful.
Listen, Gabrielle can't sing
That
either.
was so funny. Her, like, little, like... like her like humming,
She's doing,
like
scales
ridiculous
or something.
La 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 la
Yeah.
la la.
That's better than what she was giving us. Yeah, she was just really enjoying that shower so much.
Yeah.
But it was not hair day. She was not washing her hair.
No.
Yeah, I thought that was a cute detail, that she's rigged up this little bathing cap because she's not washing the hair.
She probably doesn't need to, like every 4 days maybe.
Speaking of hair,
Yes.
Xena's hair in this episode.
It's Gabrielle's hair.
Yeah, they have matching dues.
Yeah.
Is this controversial as a statement? I love it like this.
I think it looks so pretty.
Yeah, we are entering the period where Xena is experimenting with her hair,
Oh.
as Gabrielle is experimenting with her faith. So, yeah.
So an even more painful soul searching for Xena, where she's like, maybe I don't need bangs.
Yeah, she's like, maybe side
When they're there,
braids
they're
today.
just like wispy. Wispier.
No, there was that one episode they get pinned.
Yeah, they're gone.
I guess it doesn't make her look as commanding.
Yeah, she's much softer looking.
But this is an off day. That's not like this. Just
Yeah.
like we're in like a day in the life mode where
Yeah.
it's like they're not expecting anything maybe
Yeah.
to happen right now.
And this is very day in the life, just starting with the domestic routine.
Do you think Gabrielle did that? The braids?
Yeah.
It's like I want to give you my due because they're
Yeah.
bored.
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
We have to assume.
Do you think Gabrielle, like, Xena braids Gabrielle's hair, though? Do you think she came up with her side braids?
Oh, like
and then
in
Gabrielle
the first
was
place?
like, yeah, and Gabrielle was like, can I do that for you, too?
Interesting.
Ooh. I want this fic.
Yeah. Who came
Ze-
up with whose hair?
Xena and Gabrielle,
style?
who was grateful? Who
Oh.
received and who gave?
Both. What about how a, like, hawk wakes Xena up and she's like, I hate that?
That is her running thing, season 4, which I was like, hasn't she said this already? And then, Vera, you went and pointed out like the 5 episodes previous where she has said that this season. I was like, oh yeah, it's like a thing.
It's like a thing now,
She gets
yeah.
blown across rooms. And
She's
it's
like, I hate that.
Tooth falls out. I hate that.
I mean, it is funny. It's sweet. It's probably something that Lucy Lawless glommed onto and added into scenes. I wouldn't be surprised. So we have this creepy handheld camera sneaking up on Gabs as she la-la-las.
And we're certain it's Joxer because he's also there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I wasn't certain because
I was like, it's classic Joxer creeper cam,
great.
you know? But it's revealed that it was Xena later.
Yeah, this was a confusing series of events. Yeah, Xena wakes up and has like a little like string, a broken
A little
piece
bit of rope, which I was like, what are they doing with that little piece of rope?
And then she had asked Gabrielle to wake her up for a change. That was interesting.
Right,
Usually
and Gabrielle
Xena's up
said she
early.
couldn't wake her up because of Joxer, and she didn't want Joxer to be awake while she showered. So there you go, Vera. That's
But he was awake because they gave you like a hint that he totally peeped on her.
Everything about that is creepy and wrong, and I'm gonna throw a coin in for just continuing Joxer creepiness.
So Xena, like the point is that she's trying to get this like warlord Xantar to get him back in jail because he was in jail and now he's gonna like attack this village or whatever with his like 3 brothers, or there's 2 brothers, so it's like a
Right.
3 brother.
Because that's the fairy tale, the rules of 3, or rule of 3.
So she was like, you know, she's trying to get this dude, and so she needs rope, and since she doesn't have it, she's like, I know, Gabrielle's shirt.
Closest
Which
thing
is
I
like
got to rope.
so much more material than the tiny bit of rope that she had left, I guess.
But it leaves Gabrielle to have to come up with a new shirt for herself.
Yes, that is one of my favorite through lines with this episode is how she turns the sack dress into the like midriff bearing shirt with a neckline.
What is it saying about this character in this costume?
I don't know.
It was her favorite shirt, guys.
I mean,
it was the only one that went with her
only
skirt.
It shows that this was her choice. You know, this is how she feels she looks
Yeah.
best, is in the little midriff. And
I
whatever
mean,
she
she
wears
does look great.
will turn into that. Yeah.
Yeah. So she should always, yes,
What about her
embracing that.
weird line about how it's the only top that goes
Yeah.
with this skirt?
Well, it's like humorous meta about how they wear the same outfit only.
Yeah, over and over.
So does she have another skirt? I mean, she
No,
does from
I
back
mean,
in the day.
they like, I feel like a line that implies that they wear other clothes, but it's funny because we know that they
literally
don't.
never do.
Right.
Only in this episode.
She also thought a fashionable beaver stole her shirt.
Yep. You like, no, didn't like that one.
I thought that was cute. Especially
Yeah.
because you had Xena doing her, like, guilty face scratching that she does, which is, I'm, like, beginning to notice it as a tick. Like, it's her, like, awkward, I gotta touch my face because I'm in trouble.
I like when Xena is trying to convince Gabrielle that she looks good in the sack.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, brown is, like, a good color in her. It's, like, rustic.
Yeah, it seems like I like the rustic look.
Is that because Xena wears brown?
I think
No,
so.
it's because she's
Well,
wearing a
that
sack
too.
and she's trying to make her be like, you look good in it.
But Xena also, like, wears brown.
Right. And Gab
Okay.
says something like, suitable for you, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Anyway, what is this episode about? Like, what's happening?
Nothing. It's not
It's-
about
it's about-
anything.
it's
It's an Arbus and
nonsense.
Foster episode. I mean, obviously we're trying to recapture some of the sparky banter from Day in the Life.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas that episode was about the frying pan, this one is
I
about
like the
It
cooking.
almost seems like,
That part
it's
was
really
good.
promising, the beginning, where you're like, is this going to be another episode like that? And then it very quickly is like, no.
derails. It's
Oh,
about to
it is
derail
not.
right now.
Yeah, so
With
what
literal
is the-
explosion.
Yeah, an
derails
actual
it.
explosion derails the episode.
So, okay, the randomest thing ever, which is that, all right, Aphrodite's in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, Xena's BFF, this king, has a new wife,
Mm-hmm.
and his daughter does not like her.
Alesia Silverstone.
Yes. And she runs away to Aphrodite's temple.
Right, because she thinks that Aphrodite can help her
Right.
with her dad's, like, love situation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So she's kind of clever that she
Yeah, she's
even
a smart
connects the
little-
dots there.
Little girl.
And so this little girl is now all over this episode.
Okay, I want to get this out of the way. Let's have this conversation right now.
What's going on with that little girl's voice?
Vera,
all of
you just said something shocking to me before we sat down to record, which is that you didn't think that they dubbed her voice with someone else's voice. Like,
Yeah.
that you think that that's the voice coming out of
Unfortunately,
this
I
young
think it is.
child.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? It just
Sounded
seems so dubbed.
weird. Yeah.
Like that it's just like they were maybe not happy with how the lines were delivered, and they just decided to dub it over.
Yeah, it could be an adult with their like pitch, super high to make it sound like a little.
I don't even know if it was an adult.
little
It just-
person, but I thought it was this little girl, and I went, "Boy, her voice is unfortunate."
I just didn't. It didn't seem like it matched.
Yeah.
Like her speaking.
And it didn't feel like a child. Yeah,
Something
there was something
very
weird.
strange.
Well,
about it.
also, what didn't help is that oh my god, her whole thing was just terrifying. Honestly, like
The blonde wig.
so she was like a little mini Aphrodite,
Right.
Like
Which is
in
already
look.
creepy.
It's creepy
to make a
as
little girl be a
fuck.
mini Aphrodite.
Yeah, and it just was everything about it was like really, really creepy. It was like the reveal of "Don't Look Now."
Oh my
You know what I
god.
mean? Like just
That's
not right.
intense as a comparison.
Like because it's like it's a little girl, but like a grown woman.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with her voice that
Yeah.
I don't quite
Yeah.
understand what's happening.
But
Liv-
kids can be creepy with their
True.
voices.
True. You
And their
were
little
trying
teeth.
to find out if this was dubbed and could not.
All I could find was Josh Becker talking about what a great little actress they found in.
I mean, she's
believe her name's
cute.
Olivia Tennant. And that she just like knew all her lines and was like really professional and was a pleasure to work with.
That means that like that
shocked.
adultness is coming through.
So that does not sound like they had to dub her.
I'm
shocked.
shocked. What's going on?
It's just an unfortunate voice that she has. Maybe she'll have one of those baby doll voices for the rest of her life. You know, that's how
This is crazy.
They're born with them.
My mind is blown. Anyway, so yeah, she's
a creeper.
To Aphrodite for help. And then has been so taken with stories and such that she starts calling Aphrodite her evil fairy god's mother because she won't help.
She seems to... I mean, it's weird because they set up this expectation that the little girl actually thinks she's living in a fairy tale. And then they don't really follow up on that.
I see.
Like, later they're telling her stories, and it's very clear that she can delineate between reality and the story.
Yeah.
But here, it doesn't seem like she can. So I was just very confused by
maybe this was like the page from a previous draft.
Yeah, I think so. They pulled out this one, and they're like, this one's pretty funny. Let's go with it.
So... our heroes are stuck kind of babysitting this ridiculous child.
They're taking her back to Xena's BFF, King.
Yeah. Yup. And meanwhile, there's these warlords that are plotting things.
This episode does the thing that comedies tend to do, which is it makes Gab seem a little inept. She falls out of the tree.
I did like her falling out of the tree. I found that a fun little gag where she wanted to go scout ahead.
Why did she sprint? Like, why did she volunteer so much? I thought she had to poop or something.
I think she was so freaked out by that little girl. She was like, I gotta go scout. Bye.
Yeah.
She had to poop.
Like, there was some kind of insane urgency that we haven't seen since Day in Life. Not Day in Life, since In Sickness and in Hell, you know?
Oh, no.
Okay. But while that's going on, there's, like, Xena's trying to relate to Alesia.
They literally make that joke about like Alesia Silverstone and how like Joxer called her Alicia.
Oh yeah,
and then
I missed
Xena
that.
or whatever Gabs called her Alesia. Like specifically, I thought that was
I missed that.
some sort of reference to Alesia Silverstone's life.
I mean, the fact that Aphrodite wants to recruit her as a mini-me and Aphrodite's character is so clearly influenced by Cher made me think Alesia was
they as-ifed all over the place in this episode. So, yeah. Continue.
Well, Xena's trying to relate to this little girl. It's kind of cute. They're, like, holding hands.
Oh, my God.
That's true. That's nice.
It is a little sweet as an image I found. And then while Gabs is in the trees scouting, Xena tells this girl that she had a stepfather.
Yeah.
And
this is such a record scratch. What?
I was like, it was for Gabrielle who fell out of a tree and was like, what are you talking about?
Literally, this is new information. We've never heard this character mentioned, and he's never going to be mentioned again.
Yeah, but didn't Xena go, I was just trying to tell her stuff?
No, but it's clear it's real.
No, Gabrielle's like, what stepfather? And Xena says, I never told you about that. And Gabrielle's like, she's like, yeah, I told you about that. And Gabrielle's like, no. Oh my God. Yeah, it's like
so
this
it was real. I thought she made it up to relate to the girl.
Like, no, because she was like, I never told you that. And Gabrielle's like,
oh my God.
This is new information.
So what is his deal? He was married to our fave, Cyrene, and Xena didn't get along with him and didn't try to get to know him.
Right.
Is this after the sacking of Amphipolis? Was this like in her young warlord days? Like,
jeez, I don't know.
What?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I just have so many questions, and I have no idea why they chose to insert this piece of new information into this episode.
It's like not relevant.
It's so whoa. I mean, I love any new, like, I can totally see Cyrene meeting someone new.
You just want, Cyrene world building.
Yeah, anything about Cyrene and Cyrene's love life, I eat it up. But this was very confusing.
So Xena doubles back to try to take care of these like warlords or whatever, and instructs Gabrielle to tell a story to this kid to entertain her.
So this is basically the structure of the episode, which admittedly there's like a cleverness to it on paper where it starts with Gabrielle telling the story, and then there's various handoffs throughout the episode where then Joxer will tell the story, or then Aphrodite will tell the story, then Xena tells the story, and it changes each time. That's a cute setup.
It reminded me a little of Princess Bride, right? Where you have that storyteller framework, and it sometimes does have little meta moments. It's been a while since I've seen Princess Bride, but you have that sense of storytelling and the way that a story changes as it's being told.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Question mark.
Question mark.
So yeah, the first iteration. I guess my issue, I mean, we always complain about this, is that Gabrielle's version of the story is bad. Like, why is Gab so bad at telling stories?
Gabrielle, I'll say, so Gabrielle starts things off. She doesn't know how to say once upon a time. She says once, when, and then says once upon a time. Seemingly she has invented the phrase
once upon a time.
Once upon a time. That's cute. And then invents Cinderella as a story, and she maybe gets the short straw because she is telling it straight.
Yeah.
Like she's giving us Cinderella with like some really exaggerated stepsisters and such.
And I guess she's feeling hard done by Xena stealing her stuff, so she casts herself as Cinderella here in the opening because she feels like that exploited wage slave. But I don't know, that's kind of like reading into it, maybe. She's only gonna like really get mad at Xena about that a little later in the story. But I was confused by why Cinderella now. Like, how does this relate to
Well,
anything?
Why the choice?
The choices, Hermes and Frost were like, let's do Cinderella, the episode.
And we obviously have a little girl who hates her stepmother. So let's
Yeah,
tell her a story about a little girl who hates her stepmother.
Don't overthink these things.
To reinforce the hatred of your stepmother that we're trying to fix.
Tangent. You know what's really great is the new Cinderella. Everybody should watch it if you haven't seen it.
This in the end tries to hit some of those kind of feminist beats that new Cinderella did such a great job with. Here they're a little more just like thanks Josh Becker. We're glad you're giving women permission to marry whatever man they want. Wow.
So Tyrella is our Cinderella. And she's played by Gabrielle, and her stepsister is Aphrodite. Pylia, and she's like super complaining that Tyrella destroyed her Calvinus Clinus, which I thought was really funny.
That's pretty good. I like her hair too, these like cones
oh my God,
come
all
out
the loops
of her hair.
were crazy. They actually remind me of the Sanderson sisters on
very the Hocus Pocus.
Yes, they are very Hocus Pocus. Which was fun. I mean, this, obviously we're moving forward in time. Yeah. We're not beholden to ancient Greece anymore. And it's fun to see everybody in their kind of like corsets.
And, of course, the evil stepmother in Gabrielle's version is played by Xena.
Which is, again, weird. Psychologically, I was like, Gabs is imagining Xena as her evil mother figure. Like, what? Paging Dr. Freud. Dr. Freud, what is this about?
What did they do with that rope?
See,
someone's been a bad baby.
Oh, no. This episode has interesting stuff in it. See? I told you it was less bad than you remembered.
So Tyrella lists like all the stuff that she did. She like did everything. She dug the well. She did all sorts of other stuff.
Just all the chores.
She's super happy and sunny about it.
Yeah,
all.
she's very pleased with herself.
Well. So I guess this isn't really her working out her frustrations with Xena yet. Here she's just taking it all really in good spirits.
Well, she did all the things, and she's trying to like list like all of the things that like could possibly be missing from why the stepmother is so pissed at her. But the most important duty that she neglected to do was her clippings.
Oh,
now this is your favorite part of the episode.
It is my favorite part because
why?
So okay. Xena, the stepmother, throws this disgusting foot in her face. It's an extreme close-up of this nasty, but it's like insane toenails.
I don't think that that character would let their feet get that bad.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, hermit foot, like
makes sense.
Disgusting toenails. And then it's like a hard cut, and you have Joxer screaming.
It is a really good cut.
And he's covering his ears. because that was so horrifying, that foot, and it was like, I loved that. That's my
Is
favorite
it the only
Joxer
time
moment.
you ever identified with Joxer?
Yes,
Yeah.
because it was so horrific.
Yeah. And I like that he tries to pass it off later as like he wasn't scared. He just didn't want
Yeah, the
her
kid.
to freak out the kid. Yeah.
It was so
And
funny.
then Alicia's like, it's only a story. Calm
She's
down.
a little psycho.
She's kind of scary.
Yeah,
She has
it's
some
really
lines
weird.
where you're like questioning her whether she's all right.
Well, she keeps wanting to hear about violence being done to the stepmother. That's her request in the
Yeah.
story. Yeah. She also wants Xena to kill her stepmother. She at
Yeah.
one point asks for that to happen.
Oh, that's like one of my favorite parts of them walking along the road. I don't know exactly where it is in it, but like, yeah, her response to like Xena being like, "I'll help you," and she's like, "Okay, don't hurt her too bad." Like, 'cause
Yeah.
she knows Xena's solution to things.
to problems. Oh, yikes.
And then she also wants Tyrella to stab the stepmother over and over and over again with the I think they were the clippers, but she said clippings. It was really weird.
Ew, that's so gross. What's
Oh,
happening?
she's gonna kill her with the toenails.
I don't know,
Those
but
toenails can be refashioned as
guess,
weapons.
I guess.
Ugh.
but the fact that she was like a little psycho about it, it was a little problematic.
Kids
there.
can be very violent and scary.
Well, it scared Gabrielle. And she was like, no, she'll find a better solution to deal with her problems. She has Tyrella go, there's nothing wrong with the dress. Your anger is misplaced. It's a convenient way to avoid your deeper emotions. Your mistreatment of me and my belongings is your way to avoid intimacy. You both need to get in touch with your inner child.
I like that she's psychoanalyzing them. Again, that's funny considering we were just making jokes about Freud. So I like that,
Apparently-
that Gabs is also up on her psychoanalysis.
Yeah, apparently this episode is deep.
Apparently. So yeah, meanwhile, there's this really weird scene where Aphrodite looks in the mirror and her reflection begins to talk to her.
Yep.
I was so confused by that, just as a choice. I was just like, what?
Yeah, that's gonna go in the pile with Xena's stepdad and
Yeah.
all the things that will never be mentioned again.
Like, I mean, I later on in the episode, I love the scene where Gabrielle talks to her and changes her mind and gives her some room for reflection. But to actually have this tropey image as if she has some kind of divided psyche that needs to be resolved, I was just
was
like,
weird.
what?
And what are they talking about?
That she has empty nest syndrome because Cupid is in Lord of the Rings.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so she's gonna make little Alesia Silverstone.
Little Pookie?
Little Pookie. Her the demigoddess of puppy love.
Why would she be a demigoddess? Just by adopting her, she would become a demigoddess?
I guess. Can you give her powers?
Sure,
could
why
she
not?
give her powers?
Yeah, I feel like this is a thing gods do, abduct mortals.
And give them powers? I don't think so.
I mean, it probably could if she wanted
make
to.
her drink some kind of potion, prick her heel with a magical sword, IDK.
So then she, because of this, she now becomes
part of this plot.
part of the plot where it's like she's
She's
trying
part
to
of
get
Yeah.
the
Sorry.
goons' help to
Right.
get the girl back from Xena. So kind of mildly antagonistic against our heroes.
And then she gets to tell her own version of the Tyrella story,
Right.
which is, I thought, pretty fun.
Yeah, I like that it starts with her and the 4 shirtless men who are later described as her. What is it? What how do they explain the
Swimming
4?
instructors.
Her swimming instructors.
Yeah, okay,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
going on in Aphrodite says she can do a better job than Gabs and then goes into her
Yeah.
version, which involves her being like waited on by some nice boys.
4 shirtless
She's,
men.
yeah, but she's the stepmom in this one.
Yes, she's the stepmom.
And yeah, these boys are there. And she's like, if you can't take the heat, get out of my kitchen, boys.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Then Xena is there as the stepsister.
Yeah.
And her opening line is amazing.
I'm dry as a lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, she needs the beverages. And then here comes
Where's the
Tyrella.
hagster?
Yeah, the hagster. Tyrella, played by Gabrielle, is quite quite something. I loved this. I have to say.
I thought Renee was so game with this.
Yeah.
I thought it was, and it's a great shot on her too. It's like slightly askew angle of the Hagster version of Tyrella.
She's like missing one tooth.
She's missing one tooth. She has like the little goofy buns in her hair, and she's like serving them like umbrella drinks, which I thought was a good touch.
Totally episode worth it for that image alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the reveal,
Yeah, they keep cutting back to her just kind of reacting to things.
She's like she doesn't have a problem with her life.
Yeah,
that's
the new
That's
version.
the new version.
This sort of passive non-Cinderella figure who's just like fine with waiting on her hot stepmom as she bangs all her swimming instructors.
And we have our entrance of the hunky prince, played by Joxer. He's gonna be having a ball.
It's that beach blanket music comes back from
the go-go dancing. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. And the stepsister
starts doing
Xena
her
starts like grinding on him basically.
Yeah, I did not need that in my life.
No,
I love Ted, we all know that, but I just didn't need this particular.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean,
but it was like, all right, listen, guys. So she's like grinding up on him, dancing with the music, and then you keep cutting back to Aphrodite.
Tyrella. Oh, and Aphrodite.
Aphrodite's like into this image, and that's weird because that's her like daughter. Yeah, what's going on there? Paging Dr. Freud. Xena comes back after whatever her recon with the goons and whatever, and so like the story kind of stops, and Aphrodite pieces out of there. And Xena offers to cook because she feels bad about Gabrielle's shirt. However,
but she's still like working on the neckline.
She's working on it.
Yeah. The neckline looks so good, I have to say. I like when she makes that little neckline.
Sure.
I think it looks great.
But Xena is having some problems. She's like, where's the frying pan?
As we recall from the deleted material in Sins of the Past, Xena can't cook. And that's in the original version of that episode. That's why she takes Gabs with her, is because Gabs offers to cook her dinner. So Gabs makes sure Xena doesn't starve to death.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So yeah, continued here. Xena doesn't know where anything is.
Yeah, and of course Gabs is like always like, it's in my pack, where it always is. And like, you know, all the things are just always in the right place, and Xena, for some reason here, just doesn't know anything and keeps interrupting Gabrielle. She's trying to tell the story to little Alesia. So Gabrielle like huffs and like has to go do it herself, you know, that thing.
Oh yeah, I love her line, Xena, give me the pan before you hurt someone. Which again, a callback to Day in the Life, where she used the pan to hurt someone.
And now Gabrielle's like, Joxer, you have to work for your dinner, so you do the story.
Story time. Yep.
So, of course, his first move is that he gender swaps.
He gender swaps it.
So now she's Tyrone.
Tyro.
Tyro
the Mighty, right? That was his...
Right, of course.
Yeah, was like his little line to her where he was like, how old are you? And she's like, 7. And he's like, you want to be 8? Like threatening, but funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now he has a stepfather and a stepbrother who are played by the goons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they give him a wedgie. So this is like, it's weird how like the dude version of this story is like, like...
What becomes the Raimis.
Like schoolyard violence.
Yeah.
Whereas when women, when the story's about women, it's like about how do we like sexually humiliate each other or whatever was going on in Aphrodite's version of the story.
Well, Aphrodite's version can't be trusted.
I did read this as poor Ted stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely poor Ted stuff.
Like, because like the older brothers are like, you were the accident.
Yeah.
And then like do a wedgie jokes. Yeah, it just felt very...
He always works...
Self-portrait.
He works through his therapy on the show. It's
so
very
does that
specific.
mean Xantar Goon? Is that Sam?
I don't know which one tormented him most, but probably.
Meanwhile, it cuts back to Xena with some of the best sitting.
It's pretty great.
Like, her legs are just
there.
Excuse me while I objectify her legs. but they're just there
Yup.
being real good. That's all. Good day. I'll show myself out.
That was an important piece of information. Thank you for bringing it to the table.
I like her criticism of Joxer's version of the story, which is she's like, he's making this character seem like such a victim. Like she's mad at his depiction of Cinderella. She wants more for this character. You can tell what Xena's version is going to be even here.
I guess. I have to say I enjoyed Joxer's version because when Harmonia, the fairy god's mother, comes to help him out, he asks for social skills.
Oh, yeah. Which is totally what I would ask for my fairy god's mother.
Yeah.
You'll have many skills.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the highlight on Harmonia.
That was very good.
That's all.
It's
it was
always
like
nice.
Morticia Adams' realness.
Yeah.
Like the unnecessary hilarious eye night for just gorgeous dramatic effect.
And her accent, which is how would we describe that? English?
Yeah, English.
Not quite the Julia Child.
No, but definitely English. So he goes into the ball and he's sexy Joxer, like from the not quite bells tolling episode.
He's definitely doing that voice.
But
those are
closer.
his social skills, is he just lowers his voice a little bit. That's how you can trick people into thinking you have social skills.
But he has really good dancing too. He dances with. Is she supposed to be the princess?
And he has facial hair now, right? He has like a little
he has like
goatee.
the little mustache and goatee situation.
He kind of turned into Autolycus.
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, he has his little facial hair.
Wait, before we get like too deep into the gala ball scene,
Sure.
can we just go back and talk about the exchange in between these sequences where Xena and Gabrielle talk about Gabrielle's underwear?
Okay.
I mean, I
Yes.
feel like if we don't, we will be yelled at.
Let's talk about it for a half hour.
Like, Xena's going down to the river, some Xantar's men, Goon's plot, I don't know. I don't follow that stuff sometimes because it's just superfluous.
Well, certainly in this
Goon
episode, you don't
information.
need to.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
don't need to know anything about that.
And then Gabrielle's just like, oh, what clothes of mine do you want next to, like, capture them? And she's like, my underwear. And Xena says, that would be too cruel. What the?
Wow.
What's going on?
That's like flirting, but in a mean way. That's like negging.
So what's her underwear all about there?
I don't know.
What do we think?
I don't know what's happening there.
The ball?
All right, the ball.
There was a lot of dancing. Now we know it's because there's no script.
They had a lot of time to fill in.
Yeah. So he does all this crazy like solo dancing. He does like a Russian dance. He does disco.
Yeah, Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah. He does break dancing.
Oh my god, the break dancing. And also just something that was like kung fu, which I always like when they equate the fighting of Xena with a dance. That, that kind of goes back to Two Muses.
Sure. It kind of reminds me of like in Bring It On when they come up with their routine and they like take from, kung fu and
Yeah,
they put it
they
into
do.
their routine.
A little of this, a little of that.
Yeah. And Gabrielle, who must be the princess?
The princess. Yeah.
Is very like taken with him.
They waltz together, of course,
Yeah.
and then they sing this song, which I felt
Crazy
had to be a
duet.
reference to the Disney film. Yeah, it reminded me of that song from original Cinderella, animated Cinderella. That it's very like 1950s. Like,
Yeah, that voice.
So this is love. Slinky jazz. and
The
your Disney
Gabrielle
film.
voice is very particular.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing kind of like a Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers musical situation.
This was weird.
Yeah, it's just very strange.
And people don't mention this episode when you're talking about the various musical episodes of Xena, but this really does become like a big protracted musical number.
I know this is not true, but I really wanted it to be where like this scene had like a guy behind an organ kind of like rocking out. He's like the DJ of this ball, and I wanted that to be Jolo. Because I just was like, that'd be really fun if he was
that
like
would be
Joladica
a
was
good-
like rocking out, being like, I make the music here. but I know it's not. But it would be in my dreams. It is.
Their song is, I'm not sure about all the lyrics, but I know the main gist is they keep saying they're in heaven. I'm in heaven.
Okay.
Is that foreshadowing?
Oh no. No. So he is wearing a little sand clock watch.
That was a cute visual gag, his hourglass watch, yeah.
And it's running out because it's like after midnight, and immediately his social skills go out the window.
Oh, not the social skills!
So his pants fall down, and he just like runs out, shuffles away, and he like grabs all his clothes and stuff, and takes her shoe, and she's like, "Hey, my shoe!" And he's like, "I'll send it later."
I did love the reveal at the end as Joxer runs away. The camera pulls back and you see the chandelier has a disco ball embedded in it, which was a cute little like exclamation point for the end of that scene.
So while Joxer's telling the story, he's so like into it, he doesn't realize that Alesia has like escaped and like ran away. And,
and then there's just a whole sequence where she fell off a cliff for no reason.
That was so ridiculous.
What the hell's going on?
Because they literally had no plot in this episode and had to make things up.
You know what's dramatic? This child falls over a cliff.
Yeah, Xena comes back and she's like, "Where's the girl?" And they're like, "I don't know." And so then she finds her hanging off a cliff.
Like what the fuck?
That escalated quickly.
And then rather than just pulling up the vine that she's dangling from,
goes
Xena
down
just
and gets her.
Yeah, climbs down.
I mean, that might be safer in the sense that like
Maybe.
it was something she like bops the girl and she like lets go. It's
That's
maybe
true.
it's safer to
maybe
go down
I'm
and grab her.
secretly rooting for that to happen.
I like how she asked the girl like why she ran away, and she's like, "Have you ever heard Joxer tell a story? Have you ever heard Joxer tell a story?"
Like it's just not you. If that girl was speaking in her regular voice, you wouldn't be talking that way. There's something going on.
Yeah, there's something weird about it.
I don't know. Maybe they
I
made
don't
her
know
like
what
fairy.
happened.
Like she sounds like the
Yeah.
mice from Cinderella.
Yeah, she does. I also think it's generally a bad idea in an episode about storytelling to have characters being like, that 10-minute long dancing sequence, that was so boring, I left. Like, I can't leave, show. I have to record a podcast about it. So.
That was so boring, I left. Oh my god. But at least it's acknowledging it. That's a point.
So now it's Xena's turn to tell the story.
Finally.
Gab's shirt is straight up now all midriff.
Yeah, she's
done it.
tailored it to her exact proportions.
Xena in the story, she's Tyrella, and Xantar is the stepmother.
Because I guess because for Xena, it's like, the villains for her are the men she fights. So I thought that was a good twist.
Joxer is the prince still.
Weird.
And he offers, like, it's like a continuing the story, sort of like he offers the shoe now straight to, like, basically Tyrella here.
And Xena's so like, ew, why? Why are you offering this to me? Joxer's like, if it fits, I can promise you a happy ending. Wink, wink, wink.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't need
I like
you
this line, sorry.
or a fairy god's mother or anyone else to give me a happy ending. That's something that I'll get or I won't get all by my lonesome. So I suggest you peddle this shoe someplace else.
I like that line
Hashtag
a lot.
feminism.
I do like that line though, and I like the way she delivers it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the pause, like something I'll get or I won't get. Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
mean, that's true that's an interesting addition. The idea that Xena's not just saying, I'll make my own happy ending, but she's saying, it's possible I won't get one. I thought that was very true to the spirit of the show.
Yep.
Prince.
The fairy. So she's not a fairy god's mother. She's a fairy god's sister here.
Yeah.
So that they can kiss.
Sisters who
Fairy
kiss.
god's sisters who kiss.
Such a weird like through line for you to be like, oh, they're sisters. It's not a very godmother, so it's okay.
Even though Xena was playing her mother before in Gab's version.
Whatever. Freud's having a really good time in this
Xena's
app.
version,
She's a sister. I don't know why she did change it to be like this. So it's Gabrielle playing the fairy god's sister here. And
her voice. So Gabrielle's voice as Harmonia, the fairy god sister. I don't know if her name's still Harmonia. It sounds like a mix between, as you said already, the mice in Cinderella and Karen Walker from Will and Grace.
Oh my god!
It's like as if Karen was doing an impression of
the
like
mice?
a cartoon mice.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, so she's like, oh, the stepmother is gonna go rob the crown jewels, like, from the prince. Oh, you gotta stop him, blah, blah, blah.
She's like, how can I help you with this, Xena? And Xena's like, no, I got this. Can you just do the dishes for me?
Yeah, this place is a mess. Actually, that was awesome.
And I forget exactly what Gabrielle, the god sister, says here, but it's something like, whatever I can do to best serve you.
Oh my goodness.
And Gabs, upon hearing this part of the story, is
God.
so angry.
This is great.
Yeah.
She's like, after all we've been through.
That's what you think of me.
The fairy god sister of dishes.
Mm-hmm.
So Xena tries to be like, I just meant we were like family, and Gabrielle just storms off.
She's like, I'm out of here. I need space.
Done. It's over.
Yeah, she's finally leaving Xena over this.
I love Xena's line here, though, because she's like, she does this all the time. She's just crazy. Oh, my God. It's really funny, too, because, like, I have 2 more pages of notes, and I felt like this episode was over. But no. There's more, because Gabrielle has stormed off, and it seems like all is lost.
All is lost. That is literally the end of their friendship, is this business with the story. What do you guys think of Xena's defense of her, that she was trying to, because they're like family?
Right.
Is that romantic, or is that annoyingly, platonic as a description
I don't know.
of them?
How is it, like, because it's weird, because
They're having a couples fight, for
they're having
sure.
a couples fight, but, like, every time they have this dynamic, which is, a day in the life-esque dynamic where they are having these domestic fights and stuff. Family in the sense that they're married. Bickering family,
Yeah.
not,
Yeah. It was just,
I don't know. It's...
it was complicated there. I kind of twitched at the word. I felt like it was the wrong way of
Family.
explaining it. Yeah, especially because we just had God's sister. I was like, okay, yeah, you're such siblings right now. Totes.
Yeah.
That's what this fight is.
Yeah, so that's annoying.
So Xena brings Alesia back to her family, and it turns out that Xantar has stolen all their, like, jewels, and Xena's like, whatever, Alesia, go hang out with the stepmom.
She literally locks her in a room.
She locks them in a room and tells them
They'll
to
work
stay
it
there
out.
for days.
She's like, work it out.
Like, that's crazy.
I was excited about it because I was like, maybe finally we won't have to
Listen to this
deal
child.
with this character
Yes.
anymore. But then, of course, you have to have a whole scene of them in the closet together, which I did not need.
Yeah, the stepmother is kind of just a blah, but obviously the little girl is just upset about, her mother died and
No, they went out of their way to make the stepmom be like, she loves her. She was
Yeah.
crying about her earlier.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
totally...
she's not evil.
She's a little
Yeah.
kid. She needs,
And they continue
help.
to make... This is the second time we see, like in the Pumpkin episode,
pumpkin.
the king and queen here look like they're from, like, the fairy tale, like the Disney
Yeah.
rendition of a king and a queen look.
Yeah, so kind of leaping forward in time.
Like
again.
medieval. Yeah.
So then there's an interesting scene with Gabrielle going to Aphrodite to tell
Oh my
her
god,
off.
yes.
And her breaking her shit to
Breaking
get her
her
attention.
shit.
First of all, this is a roadside Aphrodite, like, yard sale type of temple.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Somebody just made a little shrine.
It was a lot of stuff
That's
there.
true. That life-size statue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Breaking her stuff, that's a callback to Eros, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. When
My
she-
new auntie.
Yes.
And I saw the ship here for the very first time.
I have many notes here, and I'm saying
It's starting.
Gaphrodite is sailing.
It's sailing. Yeah, but she really, like, gets through to her in a way that, again, like, her stupid talking reflection, I didn't buy that. But when Gabs explains that Aphrodite doesn't understand love, like, what Aphrodite is championing here in this episode is not love, but, just some kind of obsession. I thought that was such an awesome thing to say to her. And you really see it on her face. She's like, whoa, this person understands love better than I do. Goddess of love.
Yeah, and then her, like, big line for my ship here is, she's like, me care about a mortal as if,
boom! Irony.
I'm into it.
Meanwhile, because Gabs is gone, Joxer is picking up the slack by side-kicking his words.
Oh, my God.
Taking her place.
Yeah.
And Xena growls at him.
Yes, that's exactly what I have in my notes, that she growls at him and then makes the grumpy cat face as he continues to talk to her. She's just there. You keep cutting back to her reaction shots, and she's just literally become grumpy cat. So then we get the final iteration of the story, which is the stepmom telling little Alesia about... I don't even get this. Like, the way this was cut together was really confusing and weird. Because the final version of the story is Xena as Tyrella fighting her stepmother, who's Xantar, intercut with actual Xena fighting actual
I'm so
Xantar.
confused at this point, yes.
Is the stepmom psychic, or is it just, like, a weird coincidence?
It's a weird coincidence.
Don't ask too many questions. Josh Becker wrote this probably at, like, 5 a.m.
So, like, you have... It's funny because, like, the fairy tale fight is really silly because you have... the goons in drag.
Of course.
But then you also have, like, silly kung fu fighting in the quote-unquote real world, so neither of these versions of the fight feels all that, like, real. Some weird stylistic choices here. Also, I really didn't need that moment at the end where Xantar's wig falls off, and they're like,
there's a man. Which is so weird.
I don't know. I felt odd about that. Yeah. I don't know if it was quite problematic jar territory, but I was just kind of like, why is this happening? Why is this important for the story?
Well, Alesia learns about love and to love her new stepmom. So
hooray.
That's great. We can all sleep at night now.
I cared so much.
Xena explains that Tyrella in the story didn't marry the prince, and she made a pact with the god sister to live happily together.
As roommates.
Fabulous. Hooray.
So then everybody hugs.
Yep.
And it's over.
The hug's pretty good. Yeah. I love how you have Ted hugging on one side and Renee hugging on the other.
That's
and
so
the
cute.
Power of their combined hug lifts her.
Yeah. She's off the ground.
It's
they
really
do lift her.
It's so cute.
That's a great image. And there's like stills of that are very cute. Another worth it.
I mean, that's one of the nice things about, like, we love ragging on Josh Becker, but he comes in and he gets, like, everybody in, like, their goofiest, like, you get the happy family, the happy Red Pix family, and it's always heartening to see.
Yeah, they all turn their brains off and just have a good time.
Yeah, and in fact, that's what Lucy said about this. She was like, we probably went way too far. Like, we were just going so off script with nonsense because Josh, like, allows us to do that.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah.
And that's a delight for them, but, like...
It's a delight for them.
They had a good time.
But less good for us. Yeah. It just is not an episode of this show that I would care to watch.
I don't necessarily feel like the choice of fairy tales and Cinderella fits with Xena. I don't know.
It just feels weird. There's like a tonal thing that I
could totally see them pitching this. Somebody was like, yeah, let's do a fairy tale, but Xena-fy it,
It just isn't. I don't know. Somehow Dickens worked better, and that's saying something because that episode's pretty silly. But it just is wrong. It's the wrong spirit. It's obviously the wrong time period. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me.
And that's not to say that I don't think the show can make really bizarre choices, because we're going to get to some really bizarre choices.
But I like the actual bizarre ones, not this.
But
this
just
troubling.
Didn't feel good.
It felt obvious.
Yeah.
Well, Gabrielle also writes Pinocchio.
Right.
Yeah, it ends with her inventing Pinocchio as well. Cute. I like that she invents Once Upon a Time. That's sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Even just the design of the stuff, I don't really like either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This wasn't a winner, guys.
Nah,
It was not a winner.
Not everything can win.
But we are kind of through this trying period.
Yeah,
Well, I
we've
guess
done it.
we've done
it.
it.
It was very quick. We really should,
Yeah.
remember when we did all of season 1? There was plenty of those episodes were not the greatest in the
No.
world.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's like the show does so many different things that you feel like we're talking about this kind of episode as if it's, just, such a slog to get through. But, I think that because there's so many different genres and so many different ways of telling stories that, for some people in the audience, these are the kind of, fun Xena episodes that they want to tune in for. And we're all excited because we're about to enter into, a 5-episode stretch of, really intense, character stuff and, really challenging in a different way material that is probably, not everybody's cup of tea either. So it's that's what is, even though we spent an hour kind of writing on the episode, it's still cool that this show is allowed to make crazy choices. This one is maybe the Farscapian thing where
very Farscape.
You take a risk and it doesn't work for everybody.
No. But you're right. If we're allowing Xena to be a musical and be we've dabbled in genres before, there's nothing wrong with giving something a whirl and seeing if it sticks.
Yeah, and it'll do some more fairy tale-esque stuff later that works a lot better.
That works a lot better because I think it's more connected with how that would fit into this society Xena lives in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we did it.
Woohoo!
It's done. You can follow us on all this stuff
And they lived
things.
happily ever after.
Oh,
Right.
yay.
Take it away.
XenaWarriorPodcast.com. Check us out on Patreon if you would like to support the podcast and listen to more podcasts. You can find us at patreon.com /XenaWarriorPodcast. What else are we doing? We are on Apple Podcasts. Again, that is the place if you want to let us know how we're doing. If you like us, want to give us a bunch of stars, that would be awesome. It always warms our hearts to get cool reviews and things like that. So you can do that there. Yeah, we're on literally all the social media at Xena Warrior Pod is the Twitter, slightly different than everywhere else, which is Xena Warrior Podcast. You can find us on Facebook and Tumblr and Instagram. Yep. Stuff.
The power.
The passion.
The podcast.